Welcome to the Pulp Report. I am your host, Justin Yance, and I am here with the lovely Elisha Jachetti. Thank you for doing this interview.
Yeah, no problem.
So, first off, where are you from?
So I'm from New Jersey, but I now work in New York City, but
Mm-hmm.
I went to school out in Los Angeles and got most of my training, the bulk of my training out in LA.
Cool, cool. So where did you go to school? Like, who trained you?
I went to school at USC, University of Southern California, and I was in the BA program there just so I could study film production as
Mm,
well. Because I figured if I could learn how to make a movie or do things behind the scenes, then I could potentially put myself in a position to give myself roles, give my friends roles,
yeah,
yeah, stuff of that nature.
that's smart. That's smart. So, how did you get started with acting?
Honestly, I was 8 years old and I had just moved to a new state. I was living in Connecticut at the time, and my best friend was taking acting lessons, and she was just like, "Come do this with me." And I didn't know anyone there, and so just whatever she did, I did. So I went and I took the acting classes with her, and then I ended up really loving it. And since then, yeah, she stopped acting, but
Yeah.
I stuck with it, and yeah, I thought, yeah, I want to do this. This is pretty cool.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I see that you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Which so, so you're a director as well.
Well, I wouldn't call myself a director. I would say that I'm a writer and
Mm,
a producer, a creative producer. And if the opportunity comes that I do want to direct something, then I would. But it's not really my goal. I'm really not interested in the technical aspects of directing as much as I am in the telling the story, and
mm,
also as far as the producing goes, again, just being in a position of power to help make that happen and also to help give other people opportunities. So directing is just something if it happens by the way, but it's really
yeah.
not a goal of mine.
So you don't want to be like a cinematographer.
No, no. I mean, I admire cinematographers. I wish I was great with cameras, but that's just it's another world. So I feel like I'd rather find good people and let them do their thing, and then just focus on the other stuff.
Yeah, I notice on your Instagram you have a lot of books and pictures of books.
Hmm.
So you're an avid reader.
Yeah. So I really love writing, and I love storytelling in any medium. I love film, but I love plays and I love books as well. So I love to read, but I also really like to write novels. And yeah, so I'm pretty active in that world as well. I do write book reviews, but I think a lot of times the best movies I always find out they have been adaptations from books, and also they're kind of an underutilized resource because they already have so much there, dialogue and good plot and great characters, that a lot of them could be easily transferred over.
Mm,
So, I love books, and also I think reading books is a really good acting exercise because you have basically a manuscript of what happens in a character's head. And so I
yes.
feel like if if you're working on a project that is from a book, you already have the backstory, but it also kind of gives, if you don't, like just reading gives you an idea of how backstory can filter into what's happening. So I feel like it oddly is a good acting exercise.
Hmm. What are some of your favorite adaptations from
Um,
films?
my favorite adaptations. Hmm. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but one movie that I really want to see that is a recent adaptation is The Glass Castle. It is a memoir initially by Jeanette Walls. So it's actually fiction, and it's a really, really great book. Really thought provoking, and has a crazy twist at the end once you find out kind of how this author has been raised and she's been living her life, and that it could have been different. So I'm really curious to see how they were able to take that and put it in a film context. So that's one adaptation that I've been waiting to watch.
Hmm. Interesting. Um, it says that you're a personal trainer on your Twitter. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. And I haven't really, I'm still certified, but I haven't trained for about a year, a little bit more than that now. But yeah, I was a trainer for 5 years, and every now and then, I do miss it just because it's nice to help people. And I think sometimes wanting to work in the creative realm and go after that can feel a little selfish, especially in light of like the world and everything that's happening. It at least training and working with people, I did feel like I was making a difference. Like I was helping people be healthier, but also just like mostly what I would do is help people change their mindset, and feel
Hmm.
better about themselves. So yeah, I do miss it. But I would say that's more like a pastime of mine or like a hobby than like, yeah, where the more creative things are, where I hope my career will go.
Yeah. And I saw you have a website, thehealthmob.com.
The health, yeah,
I
the
couldn't I
health
couldn't get
mafia,
onto it.
yeah.
It was I was trying to is it no longer does it no longer exist?
No, it's still up there. It should be. It should be. Yeah, that's weird. I was just on it the other day. Um, yeah, I started it because I have a lot of uh, random food allergies that I got later in life. And yeah, I remember when I first found out I couldn't eat all of that stuff, it was really overwhelming. And I just couldn't, yeah, I wasn't sure what I could eat, so I ate really bland, boring stuff all the time. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
terrified anything would like send me to the hospital. And then I slowly started to calm down and experiment in the kitchen and realize I could still eat like good things, tasty things. And I figured, gosh, there's got to be other people out there who are going through the same thing as me. And so I just thought I might as well share recipes and tips and things just in case there's anybody else. But also it's good for me too because I'm a very intuitive cooker. So
Hmm.
like I'll just go in the kitchen and make something and then forget what I did. So at yeah, so like at the very least it's like good for me because I'm like, oh, that's the recipe. Sometimes if I'll like write it down on the website or on my Instagram, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I that's how I did that. Right. Yeah.
So tell me about Variety.
Yeah. So Variety is a feature film that I co-wrote, produced, and directed and starred in. It was kind of my first step into doing what I explained, which is um, putting myself in a position to give other people roles and also myself a role. So it was really a labor of love. I mean, we were lucky. A lot of locations agreed to work with us for free. We had people that donated food. Almost all of the artists involved worked for free as well. Um, and yeah, it was an incredible learning experience. I mean, I spent 4 years at a university that is really known for their film program, and I learned a lot there, but I did not learn as much as I did making that movie. And yeah, but the thing is like even though it's a great learning experience, the problem, unfortunately, is if you don't have any connections, like I don't, then it kind of becomes a little bit like not pointless, but what you're going to do with it after it's made becomes the big question. Um, so I kind of started realizing like it's great working on these independent films, and I had produced a few other movies just from a producer capacity, but I realized I wasn't in a position to really see them through to something beyond just getting made, which is a feat in of itself. And like anybody who can make a movie on their own, hats off to them, because it's a grueling process, and it's a lot of work. But I realized I need to put myself in a position to make connections. Which feels like kind of a dirty word, but so I start, yeah, it's like, yeah, it sounds very opportunistic, but I started working as a production assistant in New York City, which is what I've been doing for the last year and a half. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy work once you see how real union sets run and the kind of hours that they run on. Um, it's very long. My average day is like anywhere from 14 to 18 hours. But there's hundreds of other people there doing it with you, so it's like kind of a comfort that like everyone is miserable together. Uh, but I would say that that's also offered some insight. So now if I were to make variety now, there are so many things I've learned from really spending time on a bunch of different union sets, that I would do differently, just as far as like scheduling and organization of the shooting days that I've really learned from being on union sets. So we'll see. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
make a movie soon. I don't know.
Cool. Cool. Well, thank you for doing this interview. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you would like to mention?
Um, the only thing that I would say is for other actors who are interested in just seeing what it's like behind the scenes in film, is I would say there is use to that, just because I have worked with a lot of different actors now from from my side, from behind the camera, and it really does make a difference how the actor behaves on set, as far as how the crew responds to that actor. And obviously the A-list stars, they have their own, they're allowed to do whatever they want to do, but as far as day players, and people who are getting guest roles, or they have little arcs on TV shows or stuff like that. There's little things just as simple as making sure you tell a production assistant that you're going to the bathroom. That is hugely appreciated among the production staff, and maybe seems obvious, but isn't really so obvious when you're there. And just learning that, so that when you come in and the ADs say to your agent, "We loved working with her. We loved working with him." I think it really does make a difference. So I'm not saying go work a year and a half as a production assistant, but if you have the opportunity to do it and just familiarize yourself with that stuff, I think it could be helpful.
Cool. Well, once again, thank you. And you can reach us at Facebook on at Pulp Report, and on our Twitter handle at the Irrelevant OP. And I want to say thank you.